So, yeah, as you know, I am a teacher here at Pueblos High School, and I love my job. It's a fabulous job, man. There is a lot of pressure. And when you think about, you know, the trust that the public puts in us with our youth, you know, we're there to mold them, change them. Okay, we're there to free them from the bonds of ignorance, lead them to the promised land of knowledge. It's not easy being academic Moses. Learn. Tried it. Doesn't always work. But our job is to give them a voice in our society, to develop that voice so they can contribute. And that's not easy either, because their voices right now are very undeveloped. And it's interesting, there's two voices. And teachers know this. People who don't teach don't know this. Students sound differently to us than to the rest of people. It's sort of like reverse Charlie Brown. You know, when the teacher talks, when we hear students differently. You know, the first voice that we hear is kind of a sweet, innocent voice. It's usually a freshman, sort of like an Adam Sandler, the water boy kind of thing. Excuse me, Mr. Gerken, sir, please, if you could, I would like to go get some pretty good voice to deal with. Now the other voice, I can only describe as bewildered Appalachia. And this voice doesn't really come out until we ask students to think. Thinking is scary, it's gonna cramp. And, you know, it usually comes out after a question like, would you please describe for me the symbolism of the tree in chapters 3 and 4? Tom. Huh? And it always starts with that. Huh? Well, you see, the symbols, the trees, the drums have symbols. There was no drum in chapter 3 or 4. The trees have bark. Dogs like they bark. Well, the leaves, leaf shade. So that's what we're dealing with. All of you criticize us for taking the summers off, and you try to listen to that voice all day. Now, I'm not going to say that we don't exploit that. We're like everybody else. We have our low self-esteem days. We have those days we don't feel good about ourselves. We're just looking for somebody to take it out on, and lo and behold, thanks to cutbacks, our class size gives us 36 people every class. A lot of targets. So we toy with them. Mr. Gerken, you want a pen or pencil? Yes. It's at this point where they look like your dog when you do the fake tennis ball throw.
Chippy does.
Well, I just want to do the assignment. I can do what are you gonna do? So maybe that's an abuse of power. Maybe I'll try to cut back on that, but I doubt it. But the best thing about being a teacher is not being a student. Because being a teacher, you get to see all the things from high school, all the insecurities that kids face, and gosh, I'm glad I'm not there anymore. And the thing I never knew as a student, I never knew who the most insecure people were on campus. But it's totally obvious. Not who you think, it's the football players. You wouldn't think this because they're always together. And in their strength in numbers, they utilize this. But you separate them, look out. This just happened actually a couple weeks ago. I was putting the class in groups, and a football player said, Mr. Gerken, could we be in a group together? I said, I think it's time that you get to know your other classmates a little bit. And besides, I think that would make the groups too homogeneous. What? No homogeneous? I totally like girls. You know I do too, because you see me read. I read all my books like this. People who grew up before the internet know what I'm talking about. The kids I like the most, though, cross-country kids. I love cross-country kids. They're perhaps the most secure of any athlete. Because for one, if they're any good, they're alone anyway. They come into class every day all endorphined up, happy. But it got me to thinking. I coached basketball for a number of years, and I was a football player. I know, shocking. I wasn't always this big. When you get in trouble on a sports team, what's the coach make you do? Makes you run. Basketball team runs, football team runs, baseball team runs. What happens when a cross-country team gets in trouble? Team, I'm very disappointed in your shenanigans. By the way, that's about the worst a cross-country kid will do is a shenanigan. Tired of your shenanigans? I don't know who exchanged all our shorts for longer ones. I can barely see your thighs. So we're gonna have a little extra running today. Okay, coach. How far? We need to go 10, 15? Okay. Doesn't work. Suppose if you want to hurt the cross-country team, I'm tired of your shenanigans. So I'm closing the track. And this is when you get cross-country indignancies. You can't close my track! These feet will not be bound! I will run! You may take away my track, but you will never take away my freedom. But we're past that age of where we have to punish kids. It's not like previous generations. I went to a school where there was corporal punishment. There was a paddle. My teacher was the chief paddler, Mrs. Rose. About 5'7", 325. Out of Paducah, Kentucky. In her polyester pink pantsuit. That's alliteration, by the way, English teacher. I had to go in. And she would get you. She knew how to do it. She'd get you by the belt loop. She'd lift you up so your feet are dangling. She just pow. Took away our natural defense mechanisms. Kids have the natural defense mechanism, or we used to, maybe it died out. That anybody who has punched his brother and been chased by his mother knows this move. It's affectionately known as the hoppin' block. You know what I'm talking about. You've been chased by your mother. It's like, whoa! Whoa!